sense that if we go back to democracy, I quite like the fact that we have regional mayors and things now. So the Mayor of London obviously represents the people of London, the Mayor of Manchester, the Mayor of Liverpool. So people can go to the Mayor of London and say, they can write him a letter, and any of the politicians within London, and say to them, we need more police funding or whatever. And then the Mayor of London can lobby central government and say, we need more money. Because obviously central government decides where the money goes. It's then filtered down to local councils, the NHS, all of the things that we see in society. But it's good that we see. I quite like the idea of trying to get democracy as localised as possible. So I think that having regional mayors is a great thing. I mean, it's quite a new invention. I'm also in favour of devolution, so I think it's good that we have a Scottish Parliament. It's good that we have a Welsh Assembly. It's good that we have these regional mayors, because those are all good things. Before that we had Westminster, right? And Westminster decided, the London elite, as I would call them, well, the London elite don't understand what goes on in the countryside. So who knows, that there could be an argument that we have a mayor for down here. You could, forgive me, I'm not sure. I don't think we have a mayor for Exeter at the moment. I'm not sure on that one. Apologies, I have to check that. But there certainly could be an argument that we have a mayor for Plymouth and Exeter. Forgive me, I'm not sure whether we already do or not. But in principle, I like the idea of having more regional democracy. So that you and I, who live in the southwest, we feel like we're represented, because before you had the Welsh Assembly representing Wales, before you had the Scottish Parliament, which is what Tony Blair brought in, it was a good thing. We had a situation where London decided what happened in the whole of the country, and I'm fully in favour of regional democracy, and so leaving the EU is just a start.
And do you think leaving the EU is just a start? So in that sense,
it's a bit of a movement.
Do you think if hopefully the way politics is kind of gearing towards, the way it runs, is more divulged and more regional, less national, more regional?
Yeah, I think that's really good.
Neighbourhoods.
Yeah, brilliant.
Because
it's about the community, isn't it?
It's about the community, of course, and that's what you would say.
I'm very much in favour of that.
Very much in favour of that, yeah. And that's one of the reasons why. You wanted Britain to leave the European Union in the first place, wasn't it? So that the whole way of running things could be more community based, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because I've always felt that's you.
Yeah.
That's how you felt. You're more community based.
So we've got Tottenham Town Council, haven't we? And obviously people can write to their local councillor. We have a mutual friend who used to be one, didn't we? And that person locally can represent you. And then you've got another layer, which is South Hams Council, which is the whole of the South Hams. But certainly, as localised as you can get democracy, the better. Yeah.
Because I think it's important, because you can't just collectively control and manage a mass of people. It needs to be small segments of communities where people feel connected to the political process that's happening to them, where they don't feel like laws are being passed and rules are being made that they have no say or power over. So I believe that divulgence should be as well. One of the other questions I wanted to ask was, do you think we need to fear a reduction in food standards after we have left the EU? Do you think that is a concern?
Well, that's an interesting point, and obviously there's been a big discussion in the media. I mean, one of the big things that they brought up is chlorinated chicken, and that would potentially take place if we do a trade deal with America. Now, my personal view on this is, right, 73% of meat in this country is factory farmed, right? In this country. So that's animals kept in cramped conditions, suffering before they go to the slaughterhouse. So we can't really talk about food standards as a country. The EU, well, we've been importing bacon from Denmark for a long time, and you know, the majority of pork that comes from Denmark's factory farmed, and it's also undercut. You know, Denmark pork is much more reasonable to buy than English pork, particularly English pork that is of a higher welfare standard. So if you go to your local shop or supermarket, you've got your RSPCA approved or organic pork. Obviously that comes at a price because it's got to meet certain standards. But if you go in your supermarket, you've got your Danish bacon, it tends to be much cheaper. Well, that's part of the EU, and so the EU inadvertently has been undercutting British producers for years. So, and also bear in mind we'll still be trading with the EU anyway. So we will still have to contend with the reality that Danish bacon will undercut British pork.
How will it affect the food standards then?
Well, we already have some of the highest, allegedly, some of the highest standards for food in terms of welfare. In terms of things like chlorinated chicken coming into this country, well, we live in a market-driven economy. So there are laws and regulations that say that you have to stipulate how something's produced. So we have fortunately, this is very democratic. We have a situation where we have the power of the purse, right? So, a wallet in our cases. If you go to a supermarket, you can choose to buy or not buy chlorinated chicken from America. That's your choice. If enough people choose not to buy it, well, they won't send it here anymore. Simple as that. That's market economies. That's how they work. But if you look at the way the chickens are produced in America, their factory and farming conditions are no different to factory and farming conditions in this country or in Europe. No different at all. The only difference is the fact that yes, they do use a chlorinating process. But we have the choice whether we buy that or not. In terms of price, well, if you think about a factory farmed chicken in this country, you can buy one for less than £3.
Yeah, well,
So
how does
So whether, I honestly don't think that an American, think about this one, import taxes think about this, you have something called import taxes, okay, so if we import chickens from America, right, which is conceivable, think about how much it would cost to import chickens from America.
So if we leave the European Union, we'll it's quick. We won't stay on this point for so long.
That's
but,
right.
Leaving the European Union will help the chickens, will it?
Again, one would hope that there will be a revival of actually supporting the British farmer.
Yeah.
And we have a choice in that matter as consumers whether we do that or not. That's nothing to do with politicians.
No.
You know, people who were in favour of the EU, right? I guarantee some of them have bought Danish bacon, which undercut the average pork producer in this country. So in my view, they're quite hypocritical.
Yeah, it sounds. I hear what you're saying there. It sounds like it's in some way.
It's all hypocrisy.
It's like tricky because of the food standards. Because
I mean, actually, there's an argument that food standards globally need to be improved. Certainly, food standards in the EU are nowhere good enough.
And just a quick one, just to finish off, we've got a few more minutes left. Do we need to fear a no-deal scenario, i.e. leaving under World Trade Organisation
Well,
rules?
the simple answer to that is no.
No. And why is that then?
Right. So, no deal means that we enter an agreement with the World Trade Organisation. Now, there's been preparations on both sides for this scenario, bearing in mind that we actually voted 4 years ago to leave. Okay, so countries have made lots of preparations for this. There is something called GATT, which is the General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, and it's called GATT 24. That can be introduced under Section 5B, which basically says until such time as we make a solid agreement, tariffs will not be imposed. So that means all this scaremongering about tariffs on goods won't actually happen. Further to that point, businesses don't need trade agreements in order to trade anyway. Do you honestly think that Audi, BMW are going to stop selling cars to us? Do you honestly think that the Champagne regions are going to stop selling champagne to us? Do you honestly think France is going to stop selling it? We buy a lot of BMWs, we buy a lot of Audis, we buy a lot of champagne, we buy a lot of...
So the trade will still go on?
Yeah, do you honestly think business...
So trade will still go on?
Do you honestly think business will let politicians get in the way of them making money? No. During the Second World War, right, which is far more of a catastrophe than leaving the EU, businesses were still trading.
Okay, so that's...
Admittedly in a limited way. But business didn't allow even war to get in the way of trade, because businesses exist to make money, right? They're not going to let some politician lecture them on the fact that they can't sell us Audis. Common sense needs to be used.
Okay, so that sounds like James is saying you believe that the standards won't be, the trade won't be affected in that way, and trade will still flourish between from one nation to other nations.
And of course we have the opportunity to also trade with the rest of the world, which is amazing, and alleviate people from poverty in the likes of Africa. So we've been buying lots of stuff from the EU, which we could now buy from Africa, and by trading with Africa, we can improve their living standards.
Brilliant. So you've been watching the Brexit debate between Ashley LaGrua and James Darcy Fordham. I really enjoyed that debate. Thank you for having it with me.
Ashley, thank you. You know, I'd just like to say thank you to Ashley for his excellent journalism skills and excellent questions. You know.
Thanks, and thank you for elaborating on some of those issues and points so people can really feel how you feel, what your opinions are on the issue. I mean,
people don't
Brexit.
have to agree with me. I'm just offering an alternative viewpoint, and
we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. This is the second podcast we've done. It will be featuring on Darcy Diaries and on LaGrua Productions. Type in LaGrua Productions and type in Darcy Diaries into YouTube and you can get all our videos, and tune in for another podcast in the next week or two.
Thank you.
Thank you.